Hi, my name is Jeff. Today we're going to talk about normalizing data, or what we call normalized data. And this really is absolutely critical when we start thinking about using machine learning in our environment or artificial intelligence. And so today I'm going to take this from a 100,000 foot level. As you can see my crayon drawing here, we're going to talk about all three of these phases here and what really normalizing data means for the executive and really the non-technical audience. For those of you that are listening that are of a technical audience, this may be informative as well, or at least maybe give you some tips on how to explain it to non-technical people. So stay tuned. Let's jump right to it. So let's start there at the top. Structured and unstructured data. It's exactly what it says. Data that's structured has structure to it, meaning that it has rows and columns. So just think of it as an Excel spreadsheet. That would be structured data. Now, when we talk about databases, right, or data structure, that means really just a bigger version of rows and columns. But bottom line is it's structured, it has rows and columns. The data knows what it is and knows where it's supposed to go. And ultimately, it's from this structured data that a lot of good machine learning and artificial intelligence kind of spawns. Then we have over on the right there, unstructured data. And unstructured data are things like, for example, think of a Word document or a Google Docs document that you have information in. The information exists in there, and perhaps the most effective way to get to that information is via a search engine, for example. But that's unstructured data. Also, unstructured data would be things that are found on the internet. For example, you're doing a search for something, you're looking around, maybe you're using Chat GPT or Bard or some AI engine. That's usually looking at unstructured data. Now, both of these are absolutely important, and you're going to get these dependent upon the device that you're collecting the data from. Remember, that device could be an IoT device, right? Internet of Things, camera, or I don't know, airplane sensor or radar detector, something unstructured data, pulling back information. So whatever it is, it's unstructured, but we need to be able to look through it with some consistency and repeatability. So how do we do that? Well, focus there on the middle is a great example of where the dilemma is and really the business need for having normalized data. Notice here that we have a home. On the right-hand side there, this is how we refer in our language, right? Home, house, my place, my apartment. Those type of terms are used in order to describe the same thing, which is a home where you reside. So that right there is a great example of those four examples there: house, home, my place, apartment, of what does home really mean. So with that in mind, let's go down to the last part of this example, which is how do we normalize that data? So what we have to do is we have to say to ourselves, what are the possibilities of a description of a home? What's the possibility? Now, this is pure process, right, and policy that we put in place that governs our data set. So we could say in a quote-unquote rule, everything that comes from my structured or unstructured data that has house, my place, my place or apartment, I want to call that a home. That equals home. And so anytime I receive that data, I'm going to place it there at the bottom. I'm going to place it under the column home. That means home. So all the data associated with that, right? We're only talking about one nugget of information, right? But to the right, if you're looking at this from a spreadsheet, for example, you might have home, and then the next column over might be an address or what have you, right? So that is a great example of how we're normalizing that data through a rule set. So we're saying, if it equals this, then make it equal that. So as normalized down there at the bottom of our page, right on our screen there, house, my place, and apartment, they all equal home. Now, do we have to then write rules for everything? Well, so in today's world with data, that's really a lot of what we do for normalization, right? We build out these maps, and then we write rules to move the data around. And it's inconsistent, because what happens if somebody refers to their home as mi casa? Now, of course, we could add to the rule all different languages and things like that, but, excuse me, we can add all of that as rules, but how do we get and move to the next level? What does it mean for a home now, for machine learning to take action? How does machine learning and artificial intelligence, how do they take place in normalizing our data? So that topic is going to be in another video. So check out videos on data within this channel, and we hope that today you've learned a little more about normalization and rules related to normalizing data.